Good evening, guys. We'll start. Am I audible to all of you? Okay. Okay, guys. We'll start the session. So this is what we were discussing yesterday, that towards the action system and social interaction. Okay. Guys, I'm expecting that you have gone through the video once. Now, what we are going to do is this theory of social system. Okay. Now here I have given you a definition for social system, which is actually given by Parsons in his words, in his terms. It's slightly a lengthy definition, which you can either mug up, and anyway, you don't have any other choice. You have to do that. So just mug it up. It's a very long, lengthy definition, and some conditions are also there. That condition, anyway, you will find it from the definition itself. But on the other side, I'll give you a very simple way to explain that same definition. So we need to define what social system, like the way we have discussed social action and everything. Now here, the objective is to define system, right? So how are you going to define social system now is like this. You are doing social action, right? Suppose you're doing social action, or let's simply say action. If action you are doing is oriented towards others, right? So what I should write here, the action is oriented towards others. Like I'm doing something, I'm doing an action, that action is oriented to you. I'm doing an action, this is oriented to you, right? So there is an orientation, yes or no? Yes. So action is oriented to others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity. You are also responding to me. So what should I write here? Action oriented towards others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity. What is this? Mutual reciprocity. What does that mean by mutual reciprocity? You guys are responding to it, right? So I am doing something, X is doing something to Y, and Y is responding, right? So this is action. So action is oriented towards others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity. What will happen? Social interaction will take place. Okay, so what is social interaction in simple terms? What is social interaction? It is very simple, right? It is very simple. You are doing an action to other person and it is oriented towards other person. So you are doing action of one person oriented towards other person, and there is a reply, right? Reciprocating the action. That is what you mean by social interaction. There is no problem, right? So I'll repeat. If action is oriented towards others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity, social interaction takes place. So what do you mean by social interaction? Are we interacting now? Yes. Why? Because there is action, my action oriented towards you, and you are also responding to me when I'm asking questions, or otherwise also you are responding. So this is oriented towards you, and this also there is a reciprocating influence. So this is a clear case of interaction. Now this interaction, so guys, I've told you how action become interaction. Now this interaction becomes system, social system, if the interacting individuals, right? Here you and me are interacting, or two individuals are interacting. If the interacting individuals have a common goal. Do we have a common goal? Yes. And there should be norms and values. Are we following norms and values? Yes. And there should be an abstract boundary around us. Do we have a boundary? Yes. Abstract boundary. It's not a physical boundary, right? There is an abstract boundary, like only sociology students are sitting here and only batch 12 students are sitting here. So we created that boundary in terms of, login ID or password or whatever it is. It is not that everybody can be into this system, correct? So this is what social system. This is how you need to explain in simple terms to the examiner what is social system. So just understand action oriented towards others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity lead to social interaction. This social interaction will result into a social system if these conditions are satisfied. There should be common goal between interacting individual, norms and values. Parsons give a lot of importance to norms and values, right? This is a value orientation. He give importance to goal. This is a motivational orientation, and there is an abstract boundary around them. So can we consider our class as a social system? Yes, our classes is definitely interaction, right? Let's suppose I am doing an action oriented towards you, you are responding. So interaction, no doubt in that. Interaction will become system if we have a common goal. Yes, we have a common goal, right? And we have this norms and values, and we have an abstract boundary. So this class itself is an example of social system. Okay, now there is a very complex definition. Now guys, that you need to decide what you are going to write. You can write any one of this. Maybe you can write both also, depends on the space and time available, right? The definition goes like this. The social system consisting of plurality of individual actors interacting with each other in a situation which have at least a physical or environmental aspect, actors who are motivated in terms of tendency to optimization of gratification. Their relation to each other is defined and mediated in terms of culturally structured and shared symbols. Do you want that definition or this definition? So this is the definition which I'm talking about. You can just mug it up, no problem. But guys, this is safe. Okay. Consisting of plurality of individual actors. That means you need not only one actor. We need interaction. Interaction means definitely plurality of individual actors, not only me, right? Definition is actually like Parsons, yes. Individual actors interacting with each other. So we already discussed about interaction here. What is interaction? How interaction happens, we have told. In a situation which has at least a physical or environmental aspect, right? Actors who are motivated in terms of tendency to optimization of gratification. What does this means? What is this term? Tendency to optimization of gratification. What is this? Can you just tell me in one word? What is that? Goal. That's it. This is what we have discussed as goal, right? And whose relation to their situation, including each other, is defined and mediated in terms of system of culturally structured and shared symbol. What is this? Our relation between you and me and everything is designed and defined in terms of some culturally structured and shared symbols, norms and values, right? So this tendency to optimization of gratification is what our goal. This culturally structured shared symbol is what norms and values. This physical and environmental aspect is our boundary. This plurality of individual actors and interaction is what we have talked about, orientation, interaction, and everything. But if you can mug it up and write in inverted comma, this is going to be really good. In case if you're not able to do, just go with this. This is going to be very simple. Action oriented towards others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity, interaction. Interaction result into system if there is common goal, norms and values, and boundary. Simple. Anyone can write that definition. Action, interaction, system. Guys, that's it. Action become interaction. When? What I'll write here? What should I write here? Orientation. This interaction become system. What I need to write here? Interaction become system. No. Goals, norms, boundary. Right? Action oriented towards others and are in a state of mutual reciprocity, interaction. Then it becomes social system if these conditions are satisfied. That's it. Now here are some conditions which Parsons give. There should be interaction between two or more individuals. Yes, then only you can get a system. Interaction, it cannot be with one individual. That's why plurality of individual. So two or more individual. The interaction should take place in a social situation, having a discrete physical or environmental aspect. Social situation we have also discussed in social action, right? We are in a social situation. We have interaction. We are in a situation. There are certain collective goals which are shared by the members. We have common goal. The members are motivated to participate. Perfect. It develops set of common values or consensus in terms of role expectation, which is influenced by motivation of individual and norms and values of society. So we have a clearly defined role expectation here, right? What I do and what you do is clearly defined. Role expectation is very clear. Norms and values are there. There is an abstract boundary also. That means no others can enter into this class except our group, right? So this is what all about this definition of the system. So this is the first part. If you understood this part, then there is not going to be a big deal in the coming discussions. Is not that difficult. So I'll repeat. Social interaction is what you need to talk first. Action, orientation, mutual reciprocity, interaction. This interaction will result into system. If there is common goal, then norms and values, and then boundary. Or you can go with this definition, consisting of plurality of individual actors, that definition, and those conditions. Or depends on the situation. If it is 250 words, explain this definition first and then explain that also. Okay. Now guys, Parsons defines social system first, and he is giving a functional theory of system. And his theory is having two parts. These two parts, the maintenance of the system and the functions fulfilled by a system. So first part will be addressing how the systems are maintained. For example, this class is a system, how this class is maintained. Society also is a system, how it is maintained, how the system is surviving. That's the first part. Second part, what are the functions it is providing? So functions fulfilled by the system and maintenance of the system. These are the two parts you will be seeing in the theory, which you can see in two phases: mechanism equilibrium phase and requisite functionalism phase. How the system is maintained is what you will see in mechanism equilibrium phase, and what are the functions fulfilled by the system is what you will see in requisite functionalism phase. So let's go with mechanism equilibrium phase. This question was also asked as moving equilibrium. What Parsons says is, every society, there are specific mechanism. What they do, these mechanism, it could be family, it could be religion, it could be legal system, it could be police system. There are n number of mechanisms, right? They fulfill needs, whatever is required for society, and they bring society in equilibrium. So society always will be in an equilibrium. Today we are in an equilibrium. Even this corona is there and everything is there. We maintained it. We are in a normal, new equilibrium. Though completely different to the previous situation, but we are now maintaining that equilibrium in a different way. Social distancing and using mask and everything, right? So this is a new normal. So we have habituated to that. This is new equilibrium. Now, if there is a break in the equilibrium, like when corona came, right? That COVID-19 situation, when it came last year, this is when you can say there was a break in equilibrium, right? Or it can be anything, guys. I'm just giving that as an example. Then what will happen is there will be the break in equilibrium. So the feedback will be given to these mechanisms. So there may be new mechanisms will be added, or the existing mechanisms will be modified, and then they will fulfill the needs which is required at that point of time, bring back to new equilibrium. Right? Traditional society, when in modern society, when industrialization, urbanization and all came because of capitalism, what happened? There is a break in equilibrium. You need free labor and all, right? So there was joint family. It have changed to nuclear family, fulfill the needs of migration and everything, bring the equilibrium. Now again, nuclear family to live-in relation and all those things that is going on. Similarly, when cyber crimes are emerging more and more, new cyber laws are coming, fulfilling the needs of the time, bringing new equilibrium. Right? So society keep on evolving, but these mechanisms will come, fulfill the needs, bring in equilibrium. This is what moving equilibrium. So if the question was asked about moving equilibrium, this is what you need to write. Society is always in an equilibrium. There may be temporary breakage, temporary situation where the equilibrium may break, but it will be automatically fixed with the feedback. But what Marx talk about, guys, Marx says this is in total disequilibrium. Always, it's not temporary, it is permanent. You need revolution, you need total change of the mode of production. Here, within the mode of production, specific mechanisms will act again, fulfill the need, because the problem is temporary, similar to Durkheim. Correct? So this is what the first phase. I hope this is understood. This is what mechanism equilibrium phase. He is understanding how the system is maintained, how society is maintained, how class is maintained, right? So initially, Parsons emphasized on identifying different mechanisms which help in maintaining the equilibrium of society. Equilibrium is a dynamic one. That is, society keep on changing, but it always remain in equilibrium. Specific mechanism help in maintaining the equilibrium by providing feedback to other mechanism, which operates to restore the equilibrium if any disturbance occur. Okay, nothing. It is like this only. What are these mechanisms? It could be family, everything which you see in society, family, religion, entire society, law, legal mechanism, police system, judicial system, everything are different mechanisms. N number of mechanisms are there. They are fulfilling needs, bring back equilibrium, will maintain equilibrium. If there is a break, feedback will be given. If there is any disturbance, feedback will be given, they will act again. Okay, and then bring back equilibrium. Still disturbance, will give the feedback. And then new normal will be created, new equilibrium will be created, right? When this corona came, there was a disturbance, total disturbance, and we all, confined to our house for a long period of time, right? And then new equilibrium came with the new adjustments, new changes, social distancing or whatever it is, right? Second phase is requisite functionalism phase, where he is identifying the functions. Guys, these specific mechanisms are nothing but, now this, listen very carefully. I'm saying n number of mechanisms are there, right? But what Parsons says is, these all mechanisms can be categorized into 4. That means there are 4 functional prerequisites. There are 4 requirements for any system, for society or for this class, for any system, there are 4 requisites, 4 requirements, which will cover all these mechanisms. There are 4 fundamental requirements which will cover all these mechanisms. So ultimately, I would say all these mechanisms are nothing but fulfilling 4 basic functions. So if you need to survive, 4 basic functions need to be met. And the role of these mechanisms is to fulfill these 4 basic functions. So I repeat once again, according to Parsons, these specific mechanisms are nothing but fulfilling the 4 functional prerequisites which any system requires for its survival. Once again, for any system to survive, there are 4 requirements. And these mechanisms are fulfilling the 4 requirements for the survival of the system. Okay, what are they? That is what? Adaptation, goal attainment, integration, and latency. I'll explain what are these. Popularly known as AGIL model. Okay, this is the second phase. In this phase, he developed a grand functional theory. He classified all these mechanisms as fulfilling only 4 types of universal functional requisites. So all these mechanisms, 4 functions. It means that in order to survive, any system must fulfill 4 functional requirements, or social system must fulfill 4 functional requirements. What are they? Adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency. Guys, adaptation means if we need to survive, for example, this class, we need some physical requirements and all those things, right? We need this pen, I need this iPad, I need this camera, you need the notebook or the pen or the phone and internet and all these things, right? So these are what adaptation requirements in the system. So these are something which you need to get it from outside environment, and that distribution need to be ensured in the system for the survival. Without these things, we cannot survive. Without this iPad, I cannot take the class. The system won't work. Without your phone or the laptop, you cannot attend the class. The system won't work, right? And these are resources which are required for the system to work. Adaptation requirements are the resources which are required for the system to work. These are, if you take society, these requirements are fulfilled by economic system. You will pay money, you will get all these things. So the economic system fulfill the adaptation requirements. Goal is very important in any system, right? So in this class or anywhere, goal is very important for the survival of the system, not economic infrastructure or anything. This is entirely different. Goal is very important, right? And if you take the perspective of society, the goal is defined by the political system. Similarly, integration. For any system to survive, there has to be proper integration, coherent, right? It has to be proper coordination and everything has to be there, right? Between you and me or between individuals of society, proper integration need to be there. That is what integration, that will be ensured by the cultural system. Similarly, latency. Latency include two aspects, like there will be tension management. Guys, here, you guys are sitting here, all of you are having this tension, what to do in prelims, what to do in mains and all those things, right? That tension, if it is there, means the system won't work, that won't survive for a long period of time. So the tension need to be managed. And who will manage your tension? It will be by your family, right? Your friends, maybe your teachers, but mainly family. So tension management, we will give credit to the family, which you will see fiduciary system. So latency means it is a hidden aspect. Latent means hidden. I'll discuss more about latent in Merton. Latency means hidden, internal, tension. Okay. Yeah, goal attainment in society. I'm just talking about an example in the context of society. It is decided by the political system. Mainly, what are the goals, right? In the society, it will be decided by the political system, goals of the society. Not goals of individual, goals of society. When I'm talking about example of society, goals of society. Integration. Now, goals of society, who will fix them? Individuals are fixing. It is a political system which is fixing the goals of society. I'm giving example from the perspective of society. The adaptation needs economic system. Goal attainment, it is a political system, right? And then integration, it is a cultural system. Latency, we need to discuss at the individual level. Latency, right? Because it is a hidden aspect of each and every individual who's participating or part of system. So it is having tension management, and then there is a pattern which need to be managed. Pattern management. Okay, there is a common pattern. For example, this class, we have a pattern, right? Any class if you're taking or any system, there is a pattern. That pattern need to be managed for the survival. Okay, so latency include two: tension management and pattern maintenance. The pattern should be maintained as it is. We have a pattern, and I follow the same pattern right from batch 1 to 12th batch. I'm taking live. This is, I think, 12th batch in the last 13 months or 14 months, and pattern is the same. So this system, the pattern is maintained like that. Society, there is a pattern. If this pattern is breaking, equilibrium break. So there is a pattern for everything. Family, there is a pattern. Religion, there is a pattern. Political system, there is a pattern. Everything, there is a pattern. Tension need to be managed. Pattern need to be maintained for the survival of system. So this is what AGIL model. Let's quickly look into this. Adaptation, it implies generation and acquisition of resources from outside environment and ensure its distribution in the system. Okay. In the context of society, adaptation needs are fulfilled by economic system in the society. Goal attainment, goal occupy an important position in Parsons' understanding of social action and social system. So goal is the basic requirement of survival. It involved not only the determination of goal, but also motivating the members and mobilizing their energy to achieve their goal, ensured by political system in the context of society. They can ask you in the context of different setups, in the context of your family, they can consider as a system and they can ask you. In the context of university, they have asked in exam. This Parsons theory of social system can be stretched to any level, and your imagination also will be used here to answer the questions. Integration. For any system to survive, there must be coherence, solidarity, and coordination between different parts. In the case of society, the coordination is ensured by the cultural system. It can be the legal system, religion, and all these, right? Latency, it refers to the hidden or the latent aspect. Latent means hidden aspect. It implies storing, organizing, and maintaining the motivation of elements of the system. That means the individuals. The maintenance of these motivation is a function of two interrelated problems, or it can be said that latency have two aspects: pattern maintenance and tension management. You guys understood what you mean by pattern? Regular occurrence. Pattern, it refers to motivation of members to display appropriate characters in terms of needs, roles, and aspirations. Clarity is required in terms of cultural expectation in these terms. Tension management, which is the internal aspect, it concerns with dealing in the internal tension, strains, and stress of the actor in the system. You guys have a lot of tension, I have the tensions, and who will take care of all these? Thus, pattern should be maintained and tension should be managed for the survival of the system. So you need to draw this diagram. Now onwards, you'll see a few diagrams here. Metrics. Parsons represent the four functional requisites in terms of a matrix. This is what? AGIL. Okay. Further, Parsons attempt to generalize the AGIL model by arguing that, guys, this is a very important point. If one functional prerequisite is being met by a system, which in turn further have four functional requisites. So what Parsons says is, these four are the functional requisites, AGIL. So any system, if they need to survive, these four functional requisites has to be met, right? Adaptation, goal attainment, integration, and society. Now, tell me guys, I've given you an example of society. Which system will fulfill the adaptation requirement? Economic system will fulfill the adaptation requirement. So adaptation requirement is fulfilled by a system. Yes or no? Yes. If that is a system which in turn have adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency requirement. Yes, that is what you mean by that particular sentence. If one function is met, which in turn further have other functional prerequisites like this AGIL. In that also, some system will be fulfilling the requirement of adaptation, which in turn will further have like this. This is what circular argument. Okay, yeah. So here again, here political system, you can, this is the example that I'm giving you. In case of society, economic system fulfill adaptation requirement. And when I say economic system, this is a system. You can draw separately economic system. This is, let's say this is society, AGIL, and in that, this is economic system, this is political system, this is cultural system, this is fiduciary system. Now take the economic system. Let's say this is economic system. Is it a system? Yes. This system also have AGIL. Yeah, I'll repeat what we discussed so far. Let's say I'm drawing AGIL of society. How can you draw, guys? We need AGIL. Okay, so society, AGIL. Tell me what I will write in this economic system. Here I will write political system. Here I will write cultural system. Here family system, or you will write fiduciary system. Guys, in the PDF, they have written it as judiciary, but make it as fiduciary. Okay. Now, all these are different systems. Let's take this. So, society, its adaptation requirement is met by which system? Economic system. But that is also a system. Let me take it separately. This is economic system. So what Parsons says is, this economic system further will have AGIL requirements. It also need to survive, right? That is what we have discussed just before. If one functional prerequisite is met by a system, which in turn further have. So how can you draw that? You can draw like this, which in turn further have adaptation requirement within that, right? Economic system, it can be anything. In that also, adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency will be there. Be it any system that is there. Now, we don't want to go behind economic system and political system within that. Which we just need to tell that within that also there will be these requirements. For everything, there will be these requirements. Right, guys, any system, if you take, this is what AGIL requirement is there for any system. Now, first, I've given you society, and then I'm taking one of the adaptation requirement of society will be filled by economic system. So what I'm saying is, which in turn will have further AGIL requirement, its adaptation requirements, its goal attainment, right? It is also need to be talking about integration aspects and latency, and which we don't want to go behind that. Economic system, what kind of economic system, right? What is that goal? If it is capitalism, the goal will be different. If it is capitalist system, the adaptation requirement will be different. Similarly, in feudal system, it depends on the type of economic system. Okay, so here, this is what the diagram is all about. Parsons. No, within adaptation itself, so much of things come, right? I've told you there are specific mechanisms which fulfill certain needs. All these mechanisms have clubbed into AGIL. So it is not a specific adaptation, specific goal attainment, specific integration or latency. It can be so many mechanisms put together. But when we talk about example of society, just to make you understand, in fact, Parsons was given this, adaptation needs are fulfilled by the economic system in that society. For example, if you are in a capitalist society, economic system will be based on that. If you're in a feudal society, economic system will be based on that. So if you take that economic system, which in turn will have further needs, adaptation quality, because that is a system. For any system which will have these requirements, for you take computer or anything, for any system, these will have 4 requirements. Okay. So thus finally he proposed that be it any system, whether social or not, it will have 4 functional requirements: adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency. So all these mechanisms which we have discussed here, this one is nothing but fulfilling these functional requirements. So guys, you don't want to go behind all these things. They cannot ask you, they will not ask you what is the AGIL model of economic system and all. And then if I give you AGIL model of economic system, then further you can keep on asking, right? This is what the criticism of Parsons also. Circular arguments. There is no point in going behind that. We just need to tell that there is AGIL model, adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency, which is required for survival of the system. That's enough. And one example we have given for society. We can't give too much of examples. That's not required. Even if they ask you based on that, you need to innovate and you need to write also. Like they have asked question on university. AGIL model of university. I'll give it towards the end. Let me complete it and then I'll discuss that answer. But obviously you need to innovate and you need to write if they're asking you AGIL model of university, right? Only thing is that you need to understand university also, you should have AGIL. What are the adaptation requirements? What are the goal attainment? What are the latency part? What are the integration part of university? Think and write from your side. Further, Parsons concluded that all functional requisites are interrelated and dependent upon each other. That is, functional requirements is related to each other and it can be represented as, guys, you need to make a diagram here. AGIL. So what he's saying is all are interrelated, right? So this is connected, this is connected, this is connected like this is connected like this, and then this diagram. Just show that diagram here. All are interrelated and dependent upon each other. Okay, then only the system will work. Or just I just forgot to put the arrow here. That's it. Okay. Just do this. Further, Parsons represent the AGIL model of society. This is what I've given to you just before as an example. In case if you need to write as an example in your theory of AGIL model, write this as the example. AGIL model of society, economic system, political system, cultural system. This is not judiciary, this is fiduciary system. Okay. What about this university, guys? What all things you will write instead of what you will write in AGIL? University, if they are asking. Just copy this, no? What is the economic system in university? Who will fulfill the adaptation? Yeah, trustee, management, the finance department, right? You can write that also, no problem, because even nobody can completely objectively answer any question of Parsons. It will be all depending upon the way you interpret from this understanding. Now, AGIL can be interpreted by anyone in any way. If you say the management will take care of adaptation, yes. Or within that, the finance department will take into adaptation, yes. You may say the trust will take care of adaptation, yes. All these are correct only. I can't tell it is wrong. That's why I told you, as soon as you see a question on Parsons, jump onto it. If your concepts are clear, you're going to get good mark. Never leave any question from Parsons. Just jump onto it. So I'll just write it as the finance department. If I get this question, I'll be doing this like this only. But you get the question, you might not have prepared for this. The problem is you need to innovate that time. You need to think. Just this is an example which is there in front of you, which is given by Parsons. So on the lines similar to that, do that. What about the goal attainment? Here, if it is political system, what will be here? There will be various governing bodies, yeah, administration department, or the governing bodies will be there, right? The Senate or whatever it is. So let me write Senate, or just let me write governing bodies. Who will take the decision? Correct? I'm just mimicking this. That's it. I'm not doing anything more. If this is known to me, then I can duplicate it, right? What about this integration aspect, cultural aspect, cultural system? Various college festivals, right? Yeah, yes, that you can write. Inter-college clubs, inter-college festivals, associations, teacher-student relations. Guys, it's up to you. Inter-college fest, right? Yeah, let me write that. Student-teacher connections, or various festivals, festivals. Okay, like that. Inter-college fest, inter-college matches, all these. Peer group. Okay, what about this peer group? I can write here. That will be better. The which one? What is that? Integrated latency, tension management, counselors, right? Counseling, yes. Yes, psychology department, yes. Peer group, yes. Teachers, yes. Meditation, no, that is not. No. Okay. So either you can write simply, I'm just writing counseling or psychology department. I'm just writing counseling here, right? Counseling, counselors. So I got the answer. Simple. Now you're going to get good mark also. Ultimately, what you need to do, AGIL model of university. You need to talk about system. You need to talk about the AGIL, right? I explain that and then come to university and explain why is it. Then you're going to get good mark for this. Okay, now In this way, Parsons proposed a grand functional theory of system which apply not only to social system but to all system. See, what Parsons ultimately says is these four requirements are there for any system. If you take any system, be it physical or social or any system, if you take, these four requirements will be there, right? It is a master analytical framework which may be used to understand the survival capacity of a system. Further, Parsons views for action system is nothing but the abstraction of the system fulfilling functional requirements. This is what we have discussed yesterday. So what Parsons says, whatever we discuss now, AGIL, whatever functional requirement we have discussed now are nothing but abstractions of these four systems we have discussed. So ultimately, I can put all these in AGIL model like this. Organismic system can be represented as adaptation, because Parsons is taking to a very high level. Now here, even if you don't understand this, no problem. You just need to write what Parsons said simply and just copy this diagram. That's it. So what Parsons says is everything that we discussed before, this organismic system, social system, cultural system, personality system, are nothing but abstractions of all these functional requirements we have discussed. Abstraction means you take to the very, very high level, right? Like when you talk about numbers, we talk about infinity. Similarly, when we talk about these mechanisms and these functions here, this is infinity for Parsons. You talk to the abstract level, then this is what actually we have discussed yesterday. Adaptation, organismic system. Guys, here there is a change. You have to interchange it. Goal attainment, it is a goal, internal aspect. Now, that is a personality system. The personality system come here. Okay. And then integration, cultural system. Latency, social system. So I'll repeat what we have discussed. We have defined what is social system, right? So first we discussed about action oriented towards others. And if they are in a state of mutual reciprocity, interaction will take place. This will result into a social system when there is a common goal, right? Norms and values and boundary. Or what you need to do, you can talk about that definition consisting of plurality of individual actors, okay, right, who are interacting with each other in a situation which has at least a physical or environmental aspect. Actors who are motivated in terms of tendency to optimization of gratification, whose relation to each other is defined in terms of culturally structured and shared symbols. Make that definition. And then conditions. Then say that Parsons also gave a detailed theory of system, which is having two parts: mechanism equilibrium phase, functional prerequisite, right? Requisite functionalism phase. That is what functional prerequisites. Mechanism equilibrium phase, this is the moving equilibrium. Specific mechanisms fulfill needs, right? Bring equilibrium, right? And then if there is a disturbance, the feedback will be given, bring back equilibrium. So that's the first part. Then what he said is these specific mechanisms are nothing but the four functional requirements which are AGIL. Then what Parsons did? He said AGIL can be represented in a matrix. If one requirement is met, which in turn further have requirements, and you keep on doing this, which in turn further have requirements, that you will see as a criticism later. Then what Parsons says is, it is interconnected, right? Then what he said, in the model of society he have given, right? Economic system, political system, cultural system, and then fiduciary system. And then he have taken it to the abstract level, right? So what he said is, the action systems that we discussed yesterday, that is nothing but abstractions of these four functional prerequisites AGIL. In that context, he said, this is organismic system, this is personality system, this is cultural system, this is social system. Guys, this is what you need to remember. And now let them ask any question, university or anything. You should be in a position to connect it with this, and then you should be in a position to write it. Mostly they will ask you direct question, jump onto it. Okay, now one more topic is there here, cybernetic hierarchy of control. Let me complete this also, because with this only the theory is going to be complete, right? So what here he's saying is, there's another dimension of his theory. Action systems are not isolated, but in continuous interaction. So we discussed 4 action system: organismic system, personality system, social system, cultural system. These are action systems. They are continuous interaction with each other. How? In terms of exchanges. So they keep on exchanging things. What is that? 2 exchanges: energy exchange and information exchange. So how they interact? Through exchanges. What they exchange? Energy and interaction. Who will exchange energy? Energy, what is energy? Energy means the motivation or the internal aspect of the system which motivates it to work. Information refers to the ideas on the basis of which the system works. So energy means the motivation. Information is the idea which is required for the system to work. And Parsons consider cultural system as the source of information and organismic system as the source of energy. So what I've told you is, these action systems, organismic system, personality system, social system, cultural system, are in continuous interaction. How they interact? In terms of exchanges. What they exchange? Energy and information. Who exchange energy? Who exchange information? Cultural system, information; organismic system, energy. Okay. Now this diagram you need to draw. Don't change the order. From here, organismic system, you see energy flow. Don't change the order. Cultural system, source of information. That's why you see the information flow from here. Now, one more important point that I'm going to tell you, very important even for your 10th chapter also. So this is how interaction, this is how they are interacting in terms of exchanges: energy, information. Source of energy, organismic system. So energy flow like this. Source of information, cultural system. That flows like this. Now, if there is a change in the flow, if there is a problem in the order, what will happen? Disequilibrium comes. There will be a breakage in equilibrium. Then what will happen? Then these mechanisms will act again. What I've told you before. When there is a break in the flow, either information flow or energy flow, the mechanisms will act again, fulfill the need, and bring back equilibrium. Right? If there is a break in the flow, equilibrium is gone. So there is a break in equilibrium. So feedback will be given and new equilibrium will come. This is what social change for Parsons. So we have done with the theory of social change also for Parsons. Combining these two together, you should be explaining theory of social change. What two together? First, you talk about cybernetic hierarchy of control. 4 action systems, they are in interaction, energy and information exchange. Source of energy, organismic system; source of information, cultural system. They flow in this direction. If there is a problem in the flow, there will be a break in the system. Then equilibrium is broken. Feedback will be given. Mechanisms will act, fulfill the need, bring back equilibrium. New equilibrium, that is new society. That means social change. So what is theory of social change for Parsons? This and that diagram put together you need to write. That is a topic in chapter 10. I won't be discussing it separately there. I'll just refer to thinkers. What is social change for Durkheim? We discussed already. Mechanical solidarity to organic solidarity. We won't be discussing in chapter 10 separately. What is social change for Marx? Mode of production. Ancient to feudal to capitalism to socialism to communism. What is social change for Weber? Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. How the religion have brought changes in the system. Guys, if you're strong in thinkers, let me tell you, you are done with almost all areas of paper 1. Everything is interconnected. Everything. Only thing is that you need to be good in thinkers, and you also need to have that capacity to interconnect. If not, you guys will keep on studying same thing in different way in different chapters, and that's a extra burden. Okay, it is given here. The flow takes place in a particular direction, and the balance between the two is crucial for the survival of the system. If the balance between the information and energy flow is disturbed, what will happen? The equilibrium disturbed. This results in social change. It is given, clear, right? And various mechanisms will operate to restore equilibrium. Thus, Parsons' functional theory of system and cybernetic hierarchy of control is known as master analytical framework, grand theory, or generalized theory. Just study this, guys. I don't think now you will face any problem. Don't want to go deep into the theory. Even Parsons himself don't know what is that he mean to say. So you cannot obviously understand. But whatever he said, whatever is there, we have discussed it. You understood it. Go through this. This is what we need to know. Just think from exam point of view, not from becoming a perspective of becoming a scholar or doing PhD. That you can do once you crack the exam. Right now, what we need, this is what we need. We have done with that. Now, if they're asking a question, let me number this. I'll tell you what are the kind of questions they will ask you. Okay, so guys, if they're asking a question, Parsons' theory of social action, what you will do? Theory of action is what they're asking you. So you will be writing one in detail, because social action you will define, right? Any act consciously performed as social action. Conditions, you know, social situation, norms and values, goal, right? Investment of energy. So condition, orientation, what are they? Guys, fast. Motivational orientation, value orientation. Ideal types, what are they? Instrumental action, moral action, expressive action. Pattern variables, if you want, you can talk about, right? And then talk about actions never occur in isolation but in constellation. Talk about 4 action systems, and these are the action system: cultural system, social system, personality system, organismic system. This is how you will be writing social action. 250 words. This in detail, this and this towards the end. That's it. What if the question is about social system? First, you talk about action in brief. Then you tell how action become interaction, and then explain social system. We discussed 2 phases: mechanism equilibrium phase, requisite functionalism phase, right? And then mechanism equilibrium phase, draw the diagram. Requisite functionalism phase, talk about AGIL, explain that, tell that in a matrix, and then interconnections, example of society, and all those things that we have discussed. Okay. What if they're asking you action system? Another question can be theory of action system. Then all these 3, this write in a balanced form along with cybernetic hierarchy of control. So it is all about, you know, the way you are going to write the answer. The content remain the same. If you want, I'll repeat complete for grant for a reason. Obviously, I'll repeat completely once again, so that ultimately, just think from my side, guys, how, if you can explain the way I'm doing it with you, then it's done. There is no problem, right? If I can do it, obviously you can do it. See, social action, any act consciously performed is social. That is the definition. Conditions, what are they? Quickly. Goal, right? Norms and value, investment of energy, social situation. That's it. Orientation, motivational orientation, value orientation. Draw the diagram. Actor is always goal seeking, means, and those things that you know. Ideal types, instrumental action, expressive action, moral action. Pattern variables, ascription, achievement, collective orientation, self orientation, universalism, particularism, all those things, right? Is there any problem, guys, here, this part? Don't tell now you did not understand this. It cannot be a problem now, right? Then how social interaction, action oriented towards others in a state of mutual reciprocity, social interaction. Social system, how? Goal, norms and values, boundary. If interaction will lead to social system, or you talk about that definition consisting, I can't do anything with that definition, you need to mug it up the way I have also done, consisting of plurality of individual actors interacting with each other in a situation which have physical or environmental aspect, actors who are motivated in terms of tendency to optimization of gratification, right? and you are related in terms of structure, culturally structured and shared symbols. Just mug it up. And the conditions. Definitions, conditions. Functional theory having two parts: mechanism equilibrium phase, requisite functionalism phase. Mechanism equilibrium phase, draw the diagram, specific mechanisms, fulfill the needs, bring equilibrium. If there is a disturbance, feedback. Give an example also, legal system. Cyber crimes are coming, then new laws, cyber laws are coming. Or corona, you talk about new normal, new equilibrium. Requisite functionalism phase, AGIL, adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency. Right example. Draw the metrics. Show if one is met, which in turn further have four. Show the interconnection between all. Show the example of society. Show the abstraction also. Also talk about cybernetic hierarchy of control. What about this one? Action never occur in isolation, but in constellation. And this action systems, cultural system, social system, personality system, organismic system, right? Now, one or two times you read, it has to be simple for you guys. Any question comes from Parsons, must attempt. Parsons, if you don't take it complex, it is very simple. If you try to think beyond, don't try to think. You don't want to think in this, right? In case if they're asking you any thought-provoking question, like once they have asked university, but even that also, it is not difficult. If you know society, this is a case, just cut, copy, paste what he said. University, that's what we have done. Instead of political department, political system, we take it as governing bodies. Instead of economic system, we have taken it as finance department. So just think of it. Then you will be able to, that is the only question that they asked indirectly. Not that too is not indirect. That's the only thought-provoking question. Otherwise, you go and see Parsons questions, guys. You think it is difficult, but you will get to know how easy it is. They will ask you pattern variables straight away. Social action, right? What is motivation orientation, value orientation? What is cybernetic hierarchy of control? Repeatedly, moving equilibrium or mechanism equilibrium phase, AGIL model, social system, action. These are the questions they ask. Simple, straightforward. What you have learned, just reproduce the same. Not difficult. Don't tell me any way it is difficult anymore. It cannot be. Okay. So we'll stop here, guys. And you can take up that, but then you need to use your own imagination to explain what is this political system, AGIL, what is this economic system, AGIL. I don't want to go with that headache. That's not required. Something which is not required, why we need to do that? Why unnecessarily asking for trouble? Something which you are explaining, if the examiner is not liking it, unnecessarily asking for trouble, no? Why you need to do that? You just need to tell that if one is met, which in turn further, which is a system. So Parsons says, be it any system, it is having requirement. That is what we need to say. What Parsons says, what you need to say. Nothing more. Don't ask for trouble unnecessarily.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, Archana, tell me.
Sir, I
Now you're not audible.
Complex.
Now you're not audible.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I feel Parsons itself is very complex person. His theory also very complex.
Yeah. Oh, Parsons theory is complex if you try to make it complex. Otherwise, it is
Sir,
yes.
No, sir. During and after 1 2 days, we feel that we know everything. And after some time, so that is why.
Yeah, that is that is not only with Parsons. No, for each thinker you feel the same. When you are learning, when I am explaining, you feel it is easy.
No,
but
sir, but ask him it.
Vishaka, that you can think about it. These are things which you need to think from your side without my help. That's when you get that maturity, and you will get that ability to answer the question if it is asked in exam. Just think about it, and if it is required, we'll see that. Think about it. You should be thinking about it.
So,
Yes.
the action systems are part of social systems?
No, social system is part of action system.
Because you mentioned the AGIL model in social system, and within it, the economic system, political system, cultural and family, fiduciary, all that in action system. So I thought AGIL is part of social system, and
No. AGIL is part of social system. AGIL is part of any system, not only social system. These 4 requirements are required for all system. Even for your computer also, adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency is required.
So within AGIL that you mentioned the 4 systems.
In that also cultural system is coming, but that have nothing to do with action system. In action system also this cultural system is there. In social system also cultural system is there. That norms and values, that integration aspect, we named it as cultural system. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my doubt is, like in AGIL model, you explained different different systems, right? But different institutions, like. But in order to attain some goal in the society, maybe single institution may play all the roles, right? Like families playing, giving moral support, giving economic support. So how can we demarcate
you
specifically?
no need to demarcate it. It may vary. That is why I've told you. It all depends on the person, leaving everything with the imagination of the reader. There is nothing which is yeah. You can imagination of the reader. You can explain in your terms. It all depends on the way you are thinking, right? There is nothing concrete or objective here in this.
But
Okay,
family
and one more thing is,
and based on the situation also.
Sir, while you explaining about social system, you said 3 conditions like goal, norms and values, and boundary. And while explaining about goal, norms and values, and boundary. So you said about goal, like it is about motivation oriented. I think it is not only motivation oriented, it also comes under norms and values also, right? So goal is not only specifically only motivation oriented, it also comes from.
No, it is both. Parsons is talking from both perspectives. If it is from society perspective, norms and values and everything is oriented. But if it is from individual perspective, it is completely goal oriented, motivation. Right?
Sir, I didn't get the point.
No, if it is individual side, if you are thinking from your side, it is completely motivation oriented. So motivation is important. If it is from the societal side, it is a goal of the society. So the collective conscience, that importance is given. That is why I've told you political system decide the goal in case of society. So even goal also change with respect to situations and with respect to systems.
Then I need to add that point also here, right?
No,
motivation oriented. Like in while defining social system, you said only 3 conditions like goal, norms and values and boundaries. So I need to add motivation oriented also, right?
No, within goal itself, motivation is actually coming. No, motivation, it can be individual motivation, it can be societal motivation. Motivation is anyway coming within goal.
Then norms and values also you mentioned separately. So
norms and values means that is in a different context I'm discussing. That is not as part of goal. That is like some regulations is required. That is what, like for example, if we consider this class, we have a common goal, we have a common motivation. That is one thing, that you all want to become IAS officer. But when I say norms and values of the class, means we all follow certain regulations to achieve that goal, right? Like this rules that we are following in attending this class. That is what you mean by norms and values. Both are different.
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay, guys, we'll see tomorrow. See you guys.